When I think about turning 36, I think about how society teaches women from such a young age to fear growing old. So I knew I wanted to make a birthday love letter video to myself, showcasing how wonderful it is and how much of a privilege it is to grow old. So in today's vlog, you'll join me as I prep for my 36th birthday. I'll show you the different vegan treats I made and how I decorated the house. If you're new here, my middle name is Demelza and this is Demelza's Delights. Morning. Oh, the sun is shining. Making a bunting to put up in the dining room for my birthday. I've got these $8. Oh my gosh, I'm just shocked that I actually paid $8 for this coloured paper pad. Well, I better use it then. Inside this coloured paper pad we've got nice light yellow, pastel green, blue, pink. So I'm using this gorgeous pink colour and this yellow. These paper sheets are A4 size, so they're almost 30 centimeters long. That means that I can cut them 5 centimeters wide and get about 6 rectangular shapes out of each piece of paper. The whole process of making these strips for the bunting was actually really relaxing, and it did take me a couple of days. So I sat down in the morning and did one half one day and one half the next day. Overall, I was really excited to see what this bunting would turn out like. I think we often forget as we get older in each birthday that it's still okay to celebrate. Sometimes it just feels like too much to celebrate, or it feels like too overwhelming to organize everything, especially if you're friends with people who have children. I myself don't have any children, but most of my friends in this age range, because I'm turning 36, old, do have children. So sometimes it can be hard to schedule everybody in to celebrate on the same day. However, I highly encourage you, if you are getting older, and honestly, I still believe that 36 is such a young age. I am only a third of the way through my life. But if you are feeling like you don't want to celebrate your next birthday, I highly encourage you to sit down, plan out a few things and celebrate if you can. I also didn't want to spend a lot of money because I didn't have a lot of money to spend on this birthday, so I was just using things from around the house, whipping things together in a cost-effective way, still being able to celebrate and have a really amazing time with my friends. So I found a little system for how to make my paper chain birthday bunting a lot faster. I make one of the colours up in all the different circles first, and then I'll show you how I loop the second colour through it in a faster fashion than if I did it individually. I've got a whole bunch of my pink loops here, so I'm just taking a yellow loop and feeding it through one, two loops at a time. Got the fan on, hopefully that's not too loud. Putting another one through. So this is a lot faster. I was doing them individually before, meaning that I was getting a piece of yellow, fixing it, then getting a piece of pink and fixing it. But this is a lot faster to do 2 at a time. I've got all my paper chain so far. Might need to make a little more, but to start off with, this should be okay. I'm gonna take it into the area where I want to put it up and see if I can measure the distance and see if I need to cut any more strips. In my little drawer here, I have got lots of command strips. So I think I'll use these ones to put it on the wall. And I've also got, hidden away in here, little feathers from my beautiful duckies over the years. I'm pretty sure that this one was from Maisie in either year 1 or year 2. It's a very adult feather. And then we've got these little baby feathers. So this is obviously if they're falling off the ducks. I'm not pulling them out of the ducks. Sort of things for the house command strips, little hammer, scissors, measuring tape, and my little sewing machine here in the garage. Oh, I really like it. It worked out a lot better than I thought. So I thought I'd just do 1, 2, but putting another support in the middle really helped it. And you can see here the the command hooks work really well. Ooh, I'm really happy with that. The other thing that I have found, did not make this was when somebody in the house bought a new desk, you know how you get all of the foam and cardboard packaging and things in the box. I often don't throw those away because I like to upcycle, recycle them. Planning to make some Oreo pops, and this is perfect for sticking it on the table and having them all line up so that they're all displayed nicely. I am going to wrap it in this pink paper so that it matches the theme, and measure the distance between the Oreos. Can't really put the sticks super close together, so it can probably fit 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 Oreos on this little stand. I'm so excited about this. And then a second row at the front as well. And you can see there that the hole, using a screwdriver, you just push through all the way down through both the holes, and the stability of these Oreos is not going to fall over because it goes through both. Genius! Now let me take you to the fridge and I'll show you. I did some test Oreo pops last night. Just made 2 of them, and I really like how they came out with some sprinkles on the front. It's going to look like this. Ooh, with wrapped in pink. Oh, I'm so excited. So I made 2 test ones. They came out alright. But that was the mess that I made yesterday when I was drying. And I didn't want to waste it. I'm going to eat those later. But these ones, they didn't turn out too bad. This one is the best one. You can see the sprinkles all nicely stuck on. The back is sort of covered. I decided my paper chain was not fancy enough, so I went ahead and made some bows. And because of my ADHD, I genuinely cannot do any task without something running in the background, which I don't know if that's making it worse. Comment down below. So I found some YouTube videos to watch and set up my phone, and then got straight into making these bows. Really easy to make. I just used some nice light pink ribbon. Top tip, don't tie the knot in the middle and then do the 2 loops. Just do the 2 loops and then tie it in the middle, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It'll be a lot easier to structure the bow the way that you want it, pulling the sides and the loops out. I counted that I needed probably about 8 to 10, so I made them. And then I went over to my paper chain and put the bows and decided where on the paper chain I was going to have them. Wanted them spaced evenly, wanted them even numbers. And I also wanted them facing forward, so I knew they had to be on the pink paper because that is the part of the paper chain that was facing to the front. I thought about using blue tack or sellotape or some kind of hot glue gun to adhere the bows to the paper chain, but I ended up going with just sewing them on. This was a little bit trickier than I imagined, but then when I got into the hang of it, I found it really easy. And don't be a dummy like me and sew them all individually up on the wall. Bring the paper chain down onto your table and sew them that way. Another hot tip. I am glad I sewed them, however, because it made the bows nice and strong, they stayed together, and the invisibleness of the cotton, like the pink cotton thread that I'm using, on the paper chain was really, really good. Whereas if I'd used hot glue gun, you might have been able to see the glue or it might have gone everywhere. So I really ended up liking the fact that I sewed these on. You can see at the back of the paper chain, it is just a very simple loop. So I went into the paper, out of the paper, around the bow a couple of times, out the other end, hope this is making sense, and then I just fastened it with a little knot. As you can see off to the right in our dining room, we've got a green, it's like a fake tree, a fake bush, and I wanted to decorate that as well. Because once I had all of the bows and the paper chain sorted nicely, I looked over into that corner and thought, oh, that could do with a bit of sprucing. So I decided to attach some pink roses, fake pink roses, into that bush. And I wasn't going to put this footage in because I can see my stomach rolls in this clip. And in the next clip, you can see like my back rolls. But the reason I'm leaving it in is because I refuse to be another person online who is not proud of themselves and not proud of the body that they have and the body that has given them so much joy and so much life over the last 36 years of my life. I know in the media over the last 6 months, especially since Wicked came out, we're seeing celebrities like Ariana Grande on the red carpet and she's just so skeletal, and that may work for her. She might be really, really healthy, but we need to start seeing more bodies online who are a true representation of women in their 30s. I was so happy with how these roses looked when they were attached to the bush. I used some paper type ribbon to attach the roses into the bush, and that was just from like a craft store. And then I did buy these especially for my birthday. These are the reusable pink wine cups from Kmart. They were very cheap. I got 2 packs of them, and I wanted to put them on a little stand that we have underneath that green and now with pink roses bush. I would definitely recommend these pink reusable wine cups from Kmart if you're going to have a party. They were super cheap and they were really easy to put together, but they were also really sturdy. We didn't have any of them fall apart on the day, which was one of my fears. And overall, this area of the kitchen looked so cute, and I just had to attach some more bows to the little stand that we have to keep the pink wine cups on. With the paper chain, the bows, the roses, the cups, it was all coming together and I was so excited. And then for the Oreo pop stand, I wanted to use a small implement, so I ended up using a screwdriver to poke holes through both the first layer and the second layer to make sure that the sticks could stay in the holes nice and sturdy. This was really easy to do, but I'd probably recommend you don't do it on the bench like I did. Maybe go outside or do it on the floor, somewhere safe. Right, I'm now going to wrap this black base in pink paper. And the reason I made the holes first and not after I had wrapped it is because if I were to push this paper down, it would all crinkle and split. Whereas what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where the holes are and make a nice incision with my craft knife. Right, pull this tight and stick this down like that. Like this, here, and here, here. So the double-sided tape worked a treat for getting right into the...
Right in the butt? What? No.
These fiddly bits that are really hard to wrap. The ends don't look too bad, so the next thing that I need to do is cut with a very small craft knife the incisions for where I made those holes. So I'm just going to find with the popsicle stick the little indents. Where are they? There's one there. So I'm just going to make a little incision, push the popsicle stick in. I'm quite happy with how it looks. So to make the holes as tidy as possible and as tiny as possible, I'm just going to get my tiny little craft knife and do a cross on that spot. Very small cross. Then gently place stick through the hole. And there we have it. I'm really glad that I was able to upcycle something. Didn't have to buy something, was able to reuse paper that I already had to make a holder for my cake pops or for my chocolate Oreos for the party. I used a mixture of chocolate, so I've got here the vegan white chocolate by Sweet William, that brand. I was going to use the Sweet William white chocolate with strawberry pieces, but I didn't end up using that. That's just here in this clip so you can see. These little round sticks are what I used to attach the Oreos to, and then I had like a Whittaker's dark block and an almond chocolate block. I just thought, hey, I'm just going to use whatever chocolate I've got in the house instead of going out and buying some extra stuff. Obviously got my rolls of Oreos. I've got one chocolate and one original. And my top tip for melting chocolate is to use a glass like Pyrex bowl. Break all of the chocolate into smaller pieces and then stick it into the microwave. Only want to do it in increments of 10 seconds. Do not put it in for like 30 seconds or a minute because you'll just burn it. You're going to be bringing that glass jar out every 10 seconds, giving it a swirl and putting it back in for another 10 seconds. I swear by this method. Another top tip is when it comes out of the microwave, you're going to add a little bit of oil. You want it to be nice and thin. Another top tip, because I did this so many times and they broke, twist your Oreos. I mean, we all know that, right? That's what we're on the ads, twist and dunk, twist, lick and dunk or something, I don't know. I dipped the stick into chocolate and then pushed it into the Oreo before putting the other side on. You can also smear some chocolate on both sides before you close the lid, which I highly recommend, and that's what I ended up doing towards the end once I had worked out a new method. They then went into the fridge to set for 10 minutes. If you don't do that step, those Oreos are going to just slide right off the stick and into your chocolate when you try to dip them. I popped some nice thin melted chocolate into a little cup just because it was easier for me to dunk the Oreos into, and I have 3 different types of sprinkles here. The technique that I found that worked the most was to dip the Oreo in, pull it out, and then give it a really good shake side to side, slightly tapping it on the glass as well. Once you have a really thin layer of chocolate, you're going to quickly dip one side into the sprinkles and pull it up immediately and sort of cradle it in your hand so that none of those sprinkles with chocolate already on them drop back into the sprinkles. That was the hardest thing, was keeping the sprinkles really clean after you've done a chocolate dip. But they turned out so well and they were delicious. Obviously, I'm recording this voiceover after the parties happened. They went down a treat, excuse the pun. Everybody loved them. We did have some left over and I finished the rest of them off. So I've just popped these in the fridge to do their final setting before the party. I had some of that pink icing left over. I didn't want to waste it, so I've popped it on some banana bread and I'll put that in the fridge and eat that a little bit later on. But I'm so proud of how the other Oreo pops turned out. Really happy with how they turned out. They're going to look so cute in the little holder that I made. And I've got a range of different sprinkles, and then the pink ones will look really good as well once they're set. And then the final touches, I've popped this ribbon on the back of the chairs. I originally had in mind to do like really big bows that I would sew from fabric, but this ribbon is the exact same one that I've used on top of the little garlands up there. So instead I thought I would do long ribbons on each seat. So that's the last thing that I need to do. So this is what my nails are looking like at the moment. Absolutely disgusting. They've got little bits sort of chipped off the top. I can only think of that as like craft because of how I like hold my pen, and some sewing stuff that I've done this week and craft stuff. We're going from this blue, this shiny kind of mermaidy blue colour, to a new pink colour. So let's go to the nail salon and get my nails done. I wouldn't normally use an umbrella in Wellington, but it's very light rain today, so I've got a light umbrella. Normally it will get blown away in the wind, but I don't mind the rain. It's very nice, calming, relaxing. So I did plan on filming at the nail salon when I went and got my nails done. However, they were really busy. It was just too packed and there were too many people, and I felt a little bit, didn't feel very good to film while, you know, there were people in such close proximity. Because sometimes it's not me who's worried about filming, but others being, you know, filmed, and they don't know what it's for. So I thought I would just show you what my nails look like after I got them done. So this is a gorgeous pink P.S, like a builder gel, and then a marble effect for like, instead of French tips, I've got this gorgeous pink, white and dark pink marble effect. So cute and very on trend for the birthday party theme. Last night I slept with my hair in plaits so that I have nice wavy hair for today's party. I've got this cute little dress on. I've had it for a couple of years. It's from Glassons, so this is what I'm going to be wearing to my party. My parents are now on the way to my house, and some other friends will be turning up around 1 o'clock this afternoon, so I'm really excited to show you how my birthday plans have come together and all of the decorations that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. I'm super excited! So I've taken all of the plaits out, and the one thing that I've found when I wear my hair this way, to keep the waves, you can't brush it. If I do brush it, it'll just be, you know, the tiniest amount at the end. I'm still using the De Lorenzo Elements Mousse, and I'm going to put a tiny amount of that into the hair just to set these waves. Just pop it in like this. Really small amount, just put my fingers through my hair and try and sort of scrunch it. Hopefully that will hold. Everything came together in the end so well. I got these cute little serviettes from Kmart, the pink and purple ones. The bows on the chairs looked great. Everything looked so cute, and it was wonderful to spend time with my friends and family, my parents, and all of the close friends who came. I got lots of comments on the decor and I got lots of comments on the Oreo pops. Everybody loved them. They thought they were so bright and fun. We had lots of crackers and dips, hummus. We had lots of lunch items out on the table, and I also made these really cute grape hearts on a kebab stick. So you just basically cut your grapes on the diagonal, turn one of the sides around, and you got a little heart. So they were very cute to make. I had a vegan cake, which was from the cheesecake shop. We love this flavour. It's the second year in a row that I've got the same flavour for my birthday. It's so good. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for joining me for my 36th birthday vlog. And I hope it inspired you to celebrate you and your own birthday that might be coming up. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, pals.